Mzansi, and welcome to the last broadcast of Afternoon Express for 2020. I'm Balisa Dembe, and today we're celebrating the resilience we've gained through this challenging year by learning the heartwarming stories of the Music Kids NGO later on.
So, we've had classic fashion from Toffee, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Now, Christmas is on the horizon and it's festive season for all, so let's see how we're keeping it festive in the kitchen.
Yes, Palisa, I mean, it is that time of the year where a lot of ingredients are in season, and one of those ingredients happens to be figs. So if you like a good toffee pudding, then you're going to absolutely love our Christmas-inspired toffee figgy pudding recipe, because it is timeless and it uses one of the ingredients that a lot of people, I feel like, don't really understand. And we used to have a fig tree at home, so my grandmother used to have one in her backyard. So you've got some dried figs that you've got over there, but obviously you could use fresh figs as well. So all I'd like you to do is just add some hot water to your figs and your dried dates, so you can mix them together.
For everyone in Mzansi who's wondering what's in front of me,
yes,
these are the dried figs that Dumi was talking about. And I'm also adding them to the dates here.
Correct.
So just as Dumi has said, I'm going to add them to the dates. This is bicarbonate of soda.
Yes.
Also add that within the mix.
The reason for that, Palisa, is we're going to soak that in some water, some hot water. We basically, the bicarbonate actually help with the sweetness for the mixture that you're making there. And then the water basically plumps up the fruits, the figs and the dates there. The reason for that is because we don't want your whatever baked good you're making to get dry, because if you're using dried figs, it means it's going to absorb more as it bakes. So we're trying to avoid that. So we're putting the moisture in beforehand. Let it sit. We're going to give it about 3 to 4 minutes. While you do that, I'm going to cream together. I've got some softened butter that we've got here. So try to make sure you take your butter out sometime in advance so that it softens up, because if you use the hard butter that comes from the fridge, it's going to take you forever, and you don't want to melt it because it defeats the purpose. So we're going to cream together our brown sugar that I've just added in here and our butter. I've also got some vanilla essence that I'm adding to this mixture as well. All of this is basically going to get creamed together. This is where elbow grease is needed. If you have a hand mixer, you're more than welcome to use that. And what I do absolutely love is that we're pairing this amazing recipe with our Clover Classic custard. So we've creamed this mixture here, but you would have to cream it a little longer just so that it comes together better. But just to show you the steps, once this is creamed enough, we start adding our eggs one by one, because it's another situation of absorption. We want it to be fully incorporated before we add the rest of the eggs.
I like that. So we're not overwhelming the batter right now. We're just able to add the elements slowly but surely.
The second egg is going to go in. And if you'd like, some people like to mix the eggs ahead of time. I would suggest not, because you want to make sure you add it one by one. Unless you've got it already mixed, then you just add it a little at a time just to make sure it gets fully incorporated.
Nice.
I am now going to switch from my spatula to my whisk, because it's now starting to come together much easier.
But this is simple and easy. I mean, for myself, who's not much of a baker, it seems like this is something that I can easily whip up for my family.
Correct. Very, very, very correct. So what I'm going to do is, while I'm mixing this together, I'm going to get started on the toffee pudding part of our recipe, and that's basically the toffee sauce that's going to go on top of everything. So for that, all I need is some cream. So I'm going to start by putting that into our little saucepan, followed by some butter and some sugar. All we want is this mixture to basically melt together and dissolve the sugar and actually thicken up to a nice toffee sauce. Some people want it runnier. It's completely up to you if you'd like that. Some people want it nice and thick, almost like a toffee. But I would suggest make it nice and runny, because we want it to absorb into our toffee pudding that we're making. Now we've done the wet ingredients. Now we're going into the dry ingredients. But before I do, actually, I almost forgot one very important step. May I ask you to blitz that all together?
Okay.
And then once you've done that, we'll pour it into this mixture here. And then to mix our dry ingredients, I've got some flour, a little pinch of salt, some breadcrumbs. So what we're doing now is a recipe that's not really I don't think it's popular in South Africa. It's a figgy toffee pudding, which most people aren't actually familiar with. But then we're pairing the two. We've got a toffee pudding and we've got a figgy pudding. So all I'm doing is I've mixed up my orange zest, my salt, and my breadcrumbs together. That's the dry ingredients. And then we're gonna add this into our wet and then whisk it all together while we wait for you to just zhuzh all of that up.
And again?
And again, yes. Perfect. That is perfect.
This is the consistency we're looking
Correct.
for, Gail.
So all of this is basically, because of the kind of cake we're making a toffee pudding, the moisture is very important. So our wet ingredients are done, our dry ingredients go in, and this is where the elbow grease goes in. I'm just basically trying to make sure there are no lumps, but as we know with these kind of cakes, we don't want it to be stodgy. So I'm just going to fold this in together and make a nice little batch.
I'm also going to check up here to see how everything is melting together.
Correct.
So this is
That looks
essentially
good.
what we want.
Correct, Balisa. That's all we want. We want a nice little sauce that we're going to pour all over our dessert. And then that, on top of the custard that we're going to be putting it on, just makes it more luxurious and delicious. So if you remember, we were using here some flour. I actually just opted for self-raising flour. The reason for that is just to make sure that the leavening agent's in there, to make sure that it rises nicely and also stays nice and bubbly on the inside. So I'm going to go in with this one that we've already poured in here, put that into the oven, and I've got a nice hot one that we made a little earlier.
Looks so good. The aromas in the kitchen right now are definitely screaming festive season.
Correct. And the one thing I need to just suggest to people is when you're making this kind of recipe, make sure to add the sauce while it's still hot. The reason for that is because you want it to get absorbed into the toffee pudding. You don't want it to basically just be a glaze on the outside. So we're going to add this, and that's it, Balisa. Our sticky toffee pudding is nice and ready. All we're going to do is hoy our custard on top of it.
The best part.
The best part. And now, if that's not classic, I don't know what is. And if you want to get your hands on this recipe, go to afternoonexpress.co.za. But if by any chance you missed the steps, here's a quick recap.
Made with love by Clover.
So, we've had classic fashion from Toffee, classic cars, thanks Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic.
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Now on social media, I want to find out from you, what is your favorite thing about the festive season? Share your Christmas highlights with us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram right now, and use that hashtag Afternoon Express. Now, feeling the true spirit of charity and upliftment is one of the best things about Christmas time. When we return, we learn how Maria Botha has been changing children's lives with the Music Kids NGO. We chat to Maria Botha from Muzu Kids, a non-profit organization, about how she's bringing change to the kids' lives in South Africa through music. We're also joined by Hans, who happens to be a composer that works very, very closely with the kids. Welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you.
Now I have to start off with you, Maria. What started this initiative and the Muzu Kids?
I believe music should go to everyone. And very often, especially learning to play the violin, because it's very, very materially inaccessible, it feels to me totally unfair that only an elite group of people can access this amazing instrument and learning to play an instrument as such. And I wanted to throw this out to all children, also that would otherwise never have had the access to this wonderful experience.
But why specifically music? What is it about music for you that just resonates so true, that makes it that universal language? So much so that Hans got involved.
I grew up learning also to play the violin. It's not only violin. Learning to play a musical instrument opens up your whole being. It creates literally within you happiness, which is so important. And especially in a year like this, I believe musicians are the people that reinvent. You get the capacity to reinvent life, to reinvent yourself. And for small children like this, it's just the most wonderful foundation to build a whole life as a human being.
Yeah. You're not only focusing on one aspect of the child, but you're focusing holistically. Hans, that's where you come in, you know. So what is it about music that says not only does it just reawaken and reinvigorate your being, so much so that you got involved with Muzu Kids?
Well, I think everybody has a very individual and personal approach to music, but I know of no human being that lives without music. So it will be different for everyone, but there is something that attracts us to this. Maria works with a very successful method developed by Suzuki. So that is a way of teaching kids with the instrument immediately and directly, without reading music at first, by imitating and by producing a strong sound. And interestingly, Mr. Suzuki found most of his musical pieces from the German folk songs. And I find that while we are in South Africa, and this gives a good basis, the next step is obviously then to incorporate the African local folk songs, also to close this cultural gap. And the violin obviously is a European instrument, but it is now universally practiced and you can play anything on it.
Absolutely.
And so I'm trying to make arrangements and tap into the culture of the kids themselves. So I ask them to bring their own songs and I transcribe them and we make these ensemble pieces to make it sort of a Suzuki adapted to Cape Town.
I love the fact that you also brought about education within it, that you're bringing two disciplines and two methods together to make music and help teach these children. But we just come from a very tumultuous year, as you've already touched on, Maria, 2020. There was a hard lockdown and a lot of people couldn't move, essentially meaning there were no kids in those classes, in those lessons. So first of all, how were you able to reach out to these kids? And not only that, the kids that don't have access to internet and how were they able to still play music?
Yes, when the lockdown came, I just thought at the stage where they were so fast learning and so attentive, you just can't put a stop to that. You can't stop music for 6 months or for a year or whatever amount of time, and also the happiness that it brings to them. And I decided in the beginning of the lockdown, the very hard lockdown, we called them literally into their homes. There's a cell phone in every single home of at least one family member, and we sent them data. And they were learning from videos, WhatsApp videos.
Wow. Okay, talk about flexibility and being able to move and change with the times. We definitely appreciate not only you holding on through the national lockdown, but also finding us in this festive season and helping us usher in Christmas and New Year. We definitely appreciate your contribution, not only to these vulnerable communities, but to Afternoon Express, and I'm looking forward to your performance a little later in the show. Now, music is the gift that keeps on giving, and we hope that this warmed your hearts as much as it did ours. And to keep keep in line with the Christmas spirit, please head over to our social media platforms if you would like to make a donation to these amazingly talented Muzu kids.
I am absolutely looking forward to that performance by Muzu Kids, and I know that we're definitely going to be working up an appetite because of the recipe we are about to make. And if there's any dish that wins the prize for the huge impression it makes because of the amount of effort that goes into it, it has got to be the beef Wellington. And today we're making my faves, Abby Donnelly's version. It is fantastic, it is spectacular, but Clem, you say that it is quite simple and easy.
It is, and I feel like people get intimidated by a beef Wellington because essentially you have to cook the perfect steak.
Bali, you need to come in for this. Hey,
Oh, she has to. I love being in the kitchen with the two of you. So like I said, it's a bit intimidating because you have to cook a perfect steak, then wrap it in beautiful pastry, and all those elements have to be correct, including that beautiful duxelle over there, which is French, and I love that. And it sounds fancy. It's mushrooms, garlic, and some onions. And cook it out to make a paste. And it's full of umami flavors, which we know that just adds so much punch to any dish.
True.
So that's where umami's gonna come from.
Okay.
What I'm gonna start is, how good are your steak cooking skills? Be honest. Be honest.
Oh, okay, so I'm the type to rather just order out. I know South Africa, I'm not the only one, but I do love a good, well-prepared steak. I just really struggle to get it that medium rare.
Okay, all right.
Perfect. So I'm going to be paying attention today.
Okay, first things first with our fillet. What we've done is we've taken it out the fridge about 45 minutes ago because we want the meat to relax. You know, if you're gonna add something cold to a very hot pan or even the oven, it immediately tenses up. And we don't want that. We don't want that, absolutely. So, take it out, and it's already been trimmed beautifully. You don't need to like really fiddle with it too much. What I do like, why I love fillet with this recipe, specifically for beef Wellington, is some people like their fillets done, or steaks in general, like medium rare, and some people like it done a little more, a little more cooked. With the fillet, you'll see it's got a thicker piece in the middle, and then it kind of goes down and tapers to the bottom. So whoever's gonna get that piece is gonna have a piece of meat that's a little more cooked, and if you're in the middle, you're gonna get that like, But what I know is I've signal survey in the room. Everybody likes their steak medium rare. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to cut the perfect piece. That's a nice even piece. And don't worry about this. What's really cool about this is you can use the extra pastry to make a baby beef Wellington chi. And this one over the end, you can do another one, which is really, really cool. So the thing about fillet steaks is they don't have a lot of fat in them. So they can dry out very quickly. We are being very extra. We're not adding fat, right? We're adding duck fat to the steak. So first things first, we're going to add some duck fat, which is also really beautiful for roasting potatoes or frying potatoes. It adds so much flavor. That's in there. And you can see that pan is smoking hot because I want to get a crust on the outside. That's what I want. So salt, you always season your beef before you cook it. Like, if you can do it literally 45 minutes before cooking, it makes such a huge difference. Okay, so nice and hot pan. Like I said, I want it serious here because I want to get like a nice crust on it. So once it's smoking like that, we're gonna make sure that beef gets nice, like contact with the oil. We're gonna drop it. Now, what are you gonna do now that it goes in the pan?
You won't leave it? Well
Walk away.
You're gonna leave it. You're gonna let it do its thing. Okay, it's gonna chill. Just like you're gonna chill this December. Let the meat chill in the pan. While you're busy with that, to me, you've got some duxelle that you made for me already.
I have some, yes, sir. Here you go.
Okay. Puff pastry, very important. You don't pop it in the microwave to thaw it out. Never, ever. There's beautiful layers of butter in there. If you put it in the microwave, what's gonna happen? That butter's gonna start melting. It's gonna come out of your pastry, and then you're wondering why you made a biscuit instead of making puff pastry.
Oh wow!
Right. So and you always work with chilled pastry as well. This has just come out the freezer, something for 5 minutes after thawed out. Now we're gonna start building this. Wellington's all about the layering. You gotta get those layers of flavor right. So first things first, chicken liver pate.
Okay.
Oh, again, so much umami coming through. Are you a pate person?
I am. I do.
To me?
No.
You don't like a good pate?
I don't like, hide it from me. That's why I'm loving this recipe because it's hidden in there somewhere.
It's hidden, right? Okay, so it's also going to keep it nice and moist. That meat's not going to dry out. And I like adding a bit of that clarified butter that's over the top.
Yeah, that's on the top.
Yes, it's so good, so delicious. Then since you got some duxelle, thank you so much. And this is what you want. You want it to look like this, right? If you wanted to add a bit of greenery, you could do some wilted spinach at the bottom and then your steak. But I'm going to do a base of the beautiful duxelle. Let's see how steak's doing.
Okay.
Ma'am, it's your baby.
It is my baby. I'm here learning how to whip up. Wow, can I turn it over now?
You can't turn it over.
I love the color on that steak. Look at that.
I'm going to break a very important rule today.
Okay.
When you cook any steak, it's important to always rest your steak, right?
Yeah.
We know this. When it comes to beef Wellington, you rest it for even longer. So I would never rest it for anything less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
The worst thing that could possibly happen is once you put that steak in there and it starts cooking, all those juices come out.
Yeah.
It's going to start making a soggy pastry. Everything's going to look
We don't like that.
Yeah.
We don't like that. So I'm going to pretend that we had a beautiful crust on our steak and it's been resting for about 10 minutes, even like literally 15 minutes. Let it go cold.
Yeah.
Forget about it almost.
Yeah, let it go cold. So South Africa, don't judge me right now. I'm doing this for TV. Okay? So we're going to put our steak down on our beautiful bed of duksal and I want to add more flavors. What you can do right about now is add another layer of that beautiful chicken liver pate. But I'm just going to go straight through to the duksal again.
And the
I
best
agree.
part about it is you can actually make individual ones for people as well.
Yes.
You get your fillet to make individual. Each person gets their own little gift.
That's such a good
I like
idea.
that. Especially if they don't like you said, some like medium rare, some like well done, then the individual works perfectly. So trim your pastry, and what I love about this is you never have any waste on your pastry because you always want to make a decoration, right? It's the festive season. So you keep this, I want that, and I'm going to wrap
The
this up.
offcuts.
Yeah, but you know what? You put me on the spot now. You know, I like buying gifts for people, but I'm not very good at wrapping.
Oh, so we're not sure how this is going to come together. Essentially, is that what you're saying?
I'm going to make it happen. I'm the type of person, like, when I go to Woolies to buy a gift, I'm going to go buy a gift. I'm going to walk straight to the aisle where they get all the little goodie bags. And
Plop it in the bag.
you know, and I've even had, like, I was standing on the counter and someone was like, I can see you're not doing a very good job. Can I help you? That's the Woolies difference, right? They will see you and they will just come through. Okay, so.
Someone's always there to help.
Someone's
but it
always
seems like
there.
you're doing such a good job wrapping this beef Wellington
Thank
right
you.
now.
And you say that as I was literally like, what am I about to do with this piece? Okay, right. So I want a nice little extra bit of pastry on the top because I want that to be like, that's the part that's going to be beautiful and crispy and delicious, and you want that to be the first thing you see. What am I going to do in the middle? Okay, let's try and make a little rose. What do you think?
I love that. That's so beautiful.
Show us,
Let's see
King.
how
Show
good he
us,
is
King.
at that.
Yeah, let's see this rose.
Okay. Something's happening.
Look at
That's more
you,
like a
Chef
tulip
Clem.
than a
And
rose, but
essentially,
okay.
you're just twisting the puff pastry around.
Just doing that.
Making sure that it cascades and it makes those curves, just like the curves of a rose petal, essentially.
Wow, so poetic, Nigella.
I'm definitely in the festive spirits, clearly.
Me too. Okay, this is my attempt at a rose. Again, we don't judge now.
Stunning. No,
And
that's
going to be
beautiful.
so like beautiful. As it's going to cook, it's going to puff up immediately. So I've got some egg here. The thing about puff pastry is you don't have to use egg. You don't have to do an egg wash at all because there's enough butter in it to make it nice and gold. But if you want to have that extra gloss, a little bit of milk, a little bit of egg wash, that's all you need. This goes to the oven, and I would say about like half an hour because you want to give that puff pastry a good chance to puff up, and you kind of want to warm that steak through because you
I
don't
was
want to.
going to ask then, what are we doing to the steak on the inside, Kim? That's a long time. Will it not continue to cook?
No, you're not going to. What I also do is before I actually prep it like this the day before.
Okay.
And I leave the steak in the pastry so everything can chill down nicely and give the butter a chance to seal up again. Then when it comes to the oven, that butter reacts immediately, boom, the steak warms through, but it doesn't cook through.
Okay.
And then you're good.
Chef Clem, what I love about all of these recipes that you've brought from last week to this week, I mean, last week with that Norwegian salmon, that was quick, easy, ready to go.
Yeah.
All we needed to do is pop it in the oven and then we drizzle it with whatever sauce we like on top and we're good to go. But today you showed us something that we can make from scratch, and that is all the difference.
In South Africa, if you too also want to get your hands on this recipe, then go to taste.co.za.
There isn't much better than playing a fun and competitive game with your family during the holidays. So when we come back, we'll be playing another round of our exhilarating 5-second game.
Express yourself.
has clicked, yes, I've read all the terms and conditions, but clearly haven't? Well, whilst this might be forgivable in some instances, you definitely want to read all the fine print when it comes to your life insurance plan. The whole point of a life policy is so that you can make a claim when you need it the most, and it would just be awful if a minor oversight got in the way of that. So you know me, I met with the experts and asked all the questions. My family and I have started looking at life insurance and exploring the different options available to us. And whilst we have done a lot of homework, there's still some terms and conditions that I need a little bit more clarity on. So today I'm meeting with the Standard Bank team to get the answers I need. Ladies, as I keep going through my policies, I see the word exclusions popping up. So what are exclusions specifically in the context of a policy?
Simply put, Palesa, an exclusion is an event or an incident that the policy does not cover. Example, somebody committing a criminal act, and as a result we won't pay the claim. That is what we would call illegal acts on the policy.
Elaine, why is it essential and necessary to have exclusions on a policy?
Palesa, typically exclusions should not impact the majority of our customers. However, it is necessary to have exclusions on a policy to protect customers who are fair-paying customers from increasing premiums. You also do get permanent exclusions. So, for example, the criminal activity that Fatima referred to, I don't think you'd find an insurer in South Africa who's willing to cover anybody for engaging in criminal activity. So that's a permanent exclusion. But you also get exclusions that are not so permanent. For example, dread diseases, which would typically be excluded for an initial period of time, and thereafter cover for that would resume.
Elaine, I'm so glad you brought up dread disease. Ladies, what is dread disease?
Palesa, dread disease is an illness that the client could have. Example, cancer, kidney failure, liver failure, heart disease.
Why then is dread disease excluded for a 24-month period?
Some policies do exclude dread disease for 24 months, and the reason for this is that those customers who do have these dread diseases, is to ensure that they actually pay the fair premium for the cover that they wish to enjoy. So should they be diagnosed subsequent to the 24 months, for example, they will be able to submit a claim for that particular dread disease. Whether it's dread disease or whether it's exclusions, it's important to read the policy terms and conditions to make sure you understand exactly what the exclusions are. Fatima mentioned a couple of dread disease. There's actually a lot more, so make sure you understand there's an exhaustive list in your terms and conditions that will tell you exactly what is excluded, what is a dread disease, and what the periods of waiting are for each of those.
Thank you. Don't let big words or confusing terms throw you off. Life insurance is an absolute necessity, and it's vital for you to understand the words on your policy. Don't be afraid to reach out to any of the Standard Bank insurance brokers and get the advice you need. Protect what matters to you with insurance from Standard Bank. SMS LIFE to 31492 for a quote that fits your needs. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and friends and family will be getting together to celebrate the holidays in a responsible way. Now, whilst you can't hug like you used to, we can still get a hug in a mug now in an all-new flavor, Romany Cream's flavor. That's hashtag twice the treat. Now, speaking of festivities, it's time for another round of our 5-second game, testing our festive knowledge. Now, the winner will be walking away Dumza with an entire box of delicious Romany Cream flavors hug in a mug. Now, the rules are so simple. I'm going to be asking Utumi a series of questions, and she'll be asking the same. But we only have 5 seconds to give you 3 answers. And basically, the person who can answer the most within the given time wins.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Super simple. Please name me 3 Christmas drinks.
3 Christmas drinks: eggnog, glühwein, and hot chocolate.
Well done, Tumi. Okay, go.
Okay, cool. And then I'm going to ask you 3 of the worst gifts you can get for Christmas.
Soap on a rope, a loofah, and socks.
Okay. I'll give you that.
That's simple. Tumi, I'm going to ask you the reverse. Please may you name me 3 of the best Christmas gifts.
3 of the best gifts.
Tumi.
Snap.
Tumi. jewelry, everything, watches.
I'm not, my love language is quality time, so I struggle to think of gifts. But okay, let me ask you, fine. 3, name for me 3 Christmas songs.
Little Drummer Boy, Under the Mistletoe.
Bum, ba, bum, bum,
Kwang, kwang, kwang is more like it. Okay, it's fine. This is revenge. Dominic, name me 3 Christmas films.
Christmas, this Christmas was Klaus. Oh, wow.
You know, it gets
Nothing.
really awkward when people don't even know a film. Babes, Home Alone, Best Man Holiday. Okay, let me stop giving you answers after the time.
Okay, fine.
Do you still
On
have-
that note, I'm going to ask you one last question. Please name for me 3 Christmas desserts.
Mince pies.
Okay.
Christmas cake and trifle.
Wow.
Okay, let's tally out the answers. That is our round of 5 seconds done.
Okay.
But let's see who's going to be walking away with this delicious new flavor of Romany Cream's cappuccino hug in a mug.
Okay. Games master?
It's a draw! I guess we're going to have to split yet another box.
Okay, let's do it. I mean,
sharing is caring,
sharing
so
is-
cheers to you. Cheers. Now, in the festive spirit, you can stand a chance to win a hug in a mug hamper to the value of 300 Rand. Simply reply to the competition post on our Afternoon Express Facebook or Twitter page and tell us when your favorite time of the day is to enjoy a hug in a mug's new Romany cream flavor. Don't forget that hashtag twice the treat. The competition closes on Monday, the 11th of January 2020 at 2 p.m. So please do get entering right now. Terms and conditions can be found on afternoonexpress.co.za.
this is the perfect hamper to get this festive season, Pali.
Absolutely, and I'm in the giving spirit. So speaking of, the joy and fun of the festive season inevitably leads to some overindulgence. So we've enlisted a naughty Santa, aka TV personality and personal trainer, Nathan Castle, to demonstrate some quick and easy home exercises to carve those festive kilos.
Express yourself.
TV personality and actor Nathan Castle joins us now on the show for our festive edition of our weekly Wednesday fitness segment. But he joins us now today in character as a naughty Santa. Now, hi, naughty Santa. Can I be your fitness elf? Woo!
Yes, you may. Thank you for having me.
You're looking great, and that's essentially what we want to emulate, that type of physique. But before we get into the fitness, I mean, you're a television personality and actor. So when it comes to that, how did you establish yourself so much so that you walked away with an award?
I think through hard work, determination, and I also try to practice the law of attraction. That's more or less the short and sweet version of it all.
So you attracted an award? What was the award?
For Best Actor in LA, so I'm pretty proud about that. I wasn't expecting it. We also got Best Film and Best Score. So great team.
Congratulations. But today, not only are you wearing a Santa hat, but you're also wearing a fitness bunny hat.
Yes.
So do you want to just take us through some exercises that everyone can do at home to help fight off that stubborn festive season fat?
Okay, so there's 4 exercises I like to do every morning just to start the day off the right way, get the body into an anabolic space. We're going to start off with half burpees. Okay.
Mzansi, we did not come to play this festive season. You're looking great.
Thank you.
I hope
So
the exercises will keep me looking like that too. Thank you so much, naughty Santa. Way to kick it up a notch. I'm ready.
Okay, so into the half burpees and straight up. And it's an explosive movement, keeping the core engaged. There we go.
I see that you end up going down into a press-up. Is that necessary?
Yes, so you go down into a push-up and explosively up.
How is an easy, elementary, standard one way to do that?
Okay, so you just get down and up. You would just not do the push-up, because the push-ups can be tough.
And when it comes to that plank position that you find yourself in, what's important to remember? I'm just going to go down. A lot of people, how important is stature? Because is this, I don't know how to...
Okay, so when you're going down, you obviously don't want to overextend the back too much. So you're going to stay in a straight back position, always worrying about posture and back up. But in the next exercise, I'll show you the plank position and how you should engage your core constantly throughout the exercise.
Stunning. So that's just the half burpee for now. Let's take us into that plank.
Now we're going into the alternating toe tap plank. So you're planking, okay? Core is nice and stiff. You're lifting up the one leg, tapping to the right, lifting it back up, bringing it to the middle. Same with the left. Beautiful. That's great form.
I love that. And how important is engaging your glutes?
This is very important. You want to keep your core nice and firm. You want to keep the glutes nice and tight. You basically are getting a full body workout just by doing these 4 exercises.
Absolutely. Listen, everything is burning right now, but I like it because when it's burning, you know that it's working.
Yes.
So those are our first 2 exercises down. You've got 2 more left.
2 more. The next one, to help with the obliques, we're going to do side planks. Okay, that's just lifting your body up on one side.
Okay, I'll do it facing you.
Okay, thank you
for
for
that.
that.
To mirror the image.
Okay, and you're going to keep this pose for each of these exercises you want to do for about 45 seconds each in the morning and 15 seconds break. So it's a 4-minute exercise in total.
Love that.
Okay, yeah, exactly. And then you'll just swap around outside.
Love that. Okay.
Okay.
Keeping the obliques intact, keeping the core engaged the entire time, the glutes, and making sure that every muscle is working.
Exactly. The last one, we're going to be working shoulders. It's called hydraulics. And it can be a little bit tough.
It sounds like it.
It's basically a plank, but a slightly more advanced plank. Okay, so you're going to get into the plank position, and you're going to slowly just get up and get back down.
Okay.
This will not only work your shoulders, but it will work your biceps, it will work your triceps. Also, you need to keep your core engaged the entire time. Try and keep the body as still as possible, and then you'll be working abs as well.
I love that. There are no shortcuts when it comes to working out. Naughty Santa, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure not only celebrating you and saluting you within the entertainment space, but also within the fitness space.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naughty Santa. Now, during the festive season, the food is so good and plenty that we all pick up those extra kgs when the new year hits. But thankfully, Santa and Nathan, we know that a good workout as simple as 5 minutes in the day can make that much of a difference.
Do you experience symptoms such as bloating, nausea, cramps, and eczema after consuming dairy? You could be lactose intolerant. Be free, lactose-free with the milk, mass, and dairy snack from Nolac.
Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to the kitchen where Tumi is about to lead us to the promised land.
Into the promised land we go. The holidays are a good time to enjoy some of our favorite and delicious food. Fried chicken is probably at the top of our list. But if you have a jar of masala spice that's been of no use to you, you might want to try our no-luck masala fried chicken recipe for a flavorsome and spicy feast. Ever thought of masala and fried chicken?
I think yes, but not on purpose.
So what we're going to be doing is putting a different kind of a twist on it, because normally fried chicken has those basic spices, paprika, cayenne, none of that. But now we're putting masala into it. So you're going to do the dry part of our batter. I'm going to be doing the wet part of our mix. So the batter, obviously we've got some chicken because it's fried chicken. We've got the chicken over here, some lemon juice. I've got some garam masala. I've got some cayenne pepper. I've got some turmeric. I've also got some garlic and ginger that's been chopped up. So all of this is going to go together into our batter, and then we're going to mix it together and let it sit for a bit of time. But you're going to be mixing the dry ingredients for us over there.
Delicious. Okay, so wet ingredients, check. Dry ingredients, we have got just plain old regular flour. Then we've got some cornstarch, just to mirror that heat that Tumi is giving us on that side. We've got some paprika and chili powder, chili spice as well. Then we also have some lemon and herb spice, and also again the garam masala and coriander.
Correct.
Salt, pepper as normal. So I'm all going to mix that in as well. And then when Tumi is done with the chicken on the wet station, it goes into the dry station before we fry it on up.
That is very true. So I've mixed up the spices here and the garam masala with the ginger and the garlic. And then we're going in with our hero today, amas, no-luck mas. So what we're doing here is we're taking it up a notch. Normally you would use buttermilk and so forth. It basically serves the same purpose because it's got that tanginess. And like we always say, when you're using something tangy like that, it actually helps with tenderizing your meat. So most people would want to tenderize it overnight. That actually works. But this is a quick and easy way to get the flavor that you need from your chicken. So all I'm doing now, just mixing up all our flavors here, making sure we've got a nice thick consistency, a nice saucy arrangement over here.
But here's a way to re-up when it comes to the mass, making sure that those that are lactose intolerant are also taken care of with that no-lac or lactose intolerant individuals that suffer from those symptoms.
Correct. It's been treated with an enzyme called lactase, which makes it more digestible for people who suffer from lactose intolerance. And it also is enforced with more vitamins and calcium in it, which makes it so the people that actually lack all these vitamins and minerals, you don't have to worry about it because it actually has been treated in a way that you can still get all those nutrients that you need.
Nice. I love that. It seems like we're ticking the boxes here.
I mean, fried chicken always wins.
It's a winner chicken dinner.
All day, every day.
But it's also very important to remember for those at home who might not be meat eaters or might not like chicken and just want an alternative. I think that you have to make two separate flour batters so that you don't cross-contaminate the chicken and the fish or whatever other protein you want to use.
And you could actually repeat this recipe on any other ingredient. I mean, imagine cauliflower steaks that you could make for anyone that's vegetarian. You could do that as well, you know, because then you basically get the same flavors that get absorbed into your cauliflower. And I'd suggest for most people, if you're going to be using that perhaps for a steak, like we said, a cauliflower steak, marinate it overnight as well. People don't think marinating veggies is a thing. Marinate your veggies overnight so the flavors get absorbed and then cook it the following day.
I love the fact that you're teaching me how to take it up a notch always.
Because that's another thing. A lot of people tend to be forgotten when it comes to veggies. So yes, we're making chicken today. Tomorrow we could be making steak. You could actually replicate those flavors with any vegetable.
Okay, help us again when it comes to the clover no-lac. If we do have some vegetarian viewers right now, how will they be able to incorporate especially the mass within their diet and their Christmas table?
Well, like we said, it's not vegan, it is vegetarian. So some people still use the milk products and cheese and dairy snacks like that. So you could still use it in your recipe that way. And then obviously use it on veggies and stuff like that. So I'm going to take these out because they're already starting to look nice and golden brown.
Delicious.
Oh yes, that looks amazing. And then I just want to show you what we're dressing it up, what we're serving it up with. So we're making these beautiful chicken breasts. Obviously, if you'd like to cook it longer, you can. You can cook it in the oven once it's golden brown. Or basically you can, once it's cooked, basically we need to know that chicken must be cooked fully. Once it's cooked, we basically serve it up with a nice, I've got a nice little mango salsa that we got over here. And this mango salsa basically has some coriander, some red onion, and some mango, salt and pepper. You could add a bit of lemon juice. And that is basically a light, delicious, if you're trying to not make too much of a feast that's too time consuming, this is a perfect recipe for anyone that is lactose intolerant to enjoy with their families.
Thank you so much, Dumza.
Thank you, Pali. And to get your hands on this recipe, head on over to afternoonexpress.co.za.
Do you experience symptoms such as bloating, nausea, cramps, and eczema after consuming dairy? You could be lactose intolerant. Be free, lactose free with the milk, mass, and dairy snack from Nolac.
Made with love by Clover.
When we come back, the talented children from the Music Kids will present that festive cheer as they take to the Afternoon Express stage.
Cross and Blackwell. Snap. Black cat peanut butter. Cool chagalaga. And the twist challenge.
Buy any 4 participating products and stand a chance to win 10,000 Rand daily. Add a twist to everyday meals.
festive season right now. Thank you so much, Music Kids. Please do head over to all of our platforms to find out how you can get involved in this incredible initiative.
The festivities do not end. Over the last couple of weeks, we've made some delicious Five Roses iced tea recipes inspired by you. We received so many incredible entries for the hashtag Made by You competition, but there can only be one winner, and we have asked her to join us here today to show us how to make this winning Five Roses strawberry and cherry iced tea. But before we go too far, can I get a round of applause? Congratulations. Congratulations, Chantal. You are the winner of the 5 Roses #MadeByYou competition.
Thank you so much, guys.
Congratulations. But then you need to show us how to make this amazing recipe.
Yeah. So what we're going to need is just a few ingredients.
Okay.
You're only going to need the tea bags, the water, and of course the fruits for the garnish. Lots of ice to make it nice and refreshing for summer.
Okay, you're going to assemble it for us, but I'm going to show people the basics of how to make the iced tea. We start off with the tea. So to start it off, all we want to do right now is just heat up our water. I always suggest to everyone that when we're making tea, you don't want to boil the tea bags in the water. So you start off by boiling the water. Once you've boiled the water, then you add your tea bags. Today we are using our delicious classic Ceylon tea. There we go. Here I'm adding this to our already hot water. So it's basically going to sit there and steep.
Yes.
After it does that, you've already got some that we made earlier, and you're going to basically show us how to assemble this amazing recipe.
Yeah, now I'm just going to be making the simple syrup because the simple syrup is the actual thing that's going to be giving the iced tea the flavor it needs.
Okay.
So we're going to be needing some cherries and strawberries, some sugar, and we're going to need 1 equal amount of each.
Okay, perfect.
So we got the water over here already.
Okay.
So we're just going to be adding.
All right, so basically what you're trying to do is you want to melt the sugar, but you also want to get the flavors from the cherries and the strawberries, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
So this is the thing that's going to actually give the iced tea the flavor, the sweet flavor, because we want some sweetness in our iced tea.
Okay.
So 1 cup water, and then obviously 1 cup of sugar. We're going to add the 1 cup of cherries and the strawberries.
Okay, perfect. Which you're obviously just removing the leaves from because we don't want to put anything there that's not edible.
Exactly.
And why this recipe specifically?
I love this recipe because a couple of months ago I was diagnosed with an ulcer, so I'm not allowed to have any more fizzy drinks and stuff like that. So I decided that I'm going to be making my own iced tea because that's actually the only thing that I'm allowed to have right now.
Look at you, being inventive and innovative and all of that.
Yeah,
well
and
done.
you know the juice as well, there has a lot of like bad stuff in it, so I prefer to make my iced tea because it's healthy and I know exactly what's inside.
Well,
so
South
what I'm going to be
Africa.
doing is adding 1 cup of strawberry.
Okay.
And we're just going to simmer this for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And once it's done, we're just going to take out the pulpiness of the fruit.
Okay.
We're going to sift it and we're just going to get the syrup from there and we can add it to the iced tea.
Perfect. So we're going to let this do its own thing over here, and you're going to show us this magic of how you made this recipe, how you're going to assemble it. We've got all your ingredients there. You did show us some strawberries, some mint, some grapefruit. We've also got the simple syrup that we made earlier.
Yes.
So go ahead, show us how this is assembled.
So we already have some simple syrup that was made earlier on, thanks to me. And we have our tea that's ready made. So what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to be assembling it. Okay, so I'm going to be pouring some of the tea in the cup.
That's already been made and cooled down,
yes.
right? Okay.
We're just going to mix it in the cup, in the glass right now, because then I'm going to add the simple syrup. You can add any amount according to your liking. I'll be adding maybe 2 tablespoons.
Okay, and obviously you said to your liking because depending on how sweet you want it, obviously.
Yeah, because everybody doesn't have the same taste.
True.
Yes, we're just going to mix that in. We're going to add more, just a little more.
Okay. So basically you started off that way so that you can gauge the sweetness, whether you're going to need more or not.
Yeah, so obviously you're going to have to taste and see whether it's according to your liking. But the best thing for this iced tea is to refrigerate it for 24 hours in the fridge. The best thing with this recipe is you're going to have to leave it overnight in the fridge for 24 hours so the fruits and everything can settle and give a nice flavor, especially when it comes to the simple syrup.
That's perfect. In culinary terms, we call that infusing South Africa. So that's basically what you're doing. We're making the recipe and you want it to sit overnight so it infuses and all those flavors can actually be tasted with the amazing 5 Roses.
Yes, so the fruits and everything can come through.
Perfect.
So we're just going to be adding some strawberries as well and some cherries.
That looks amazing already. And you've got some grapefruit there and some mint.
Yeah, so if you want, this is optional, it's obviously just for garnish, but this actually gives a nice flavor to it as well.
It actually does.
Yes,
that aroma from the grapefruit makes a huge difference to the flavor as well.
And then obviously your mint, it also gives nice flavor. And there you have it, a nice refreshing drink for summer.
That is amazing, Chantal. In South Africa, if you want to get your hands on this awesome recipe, do make sure you head to afternoonexpress.co.za for the full ingredients list and all the steps.
Enjoy delicious homemade iced tea this summer. See on pack for more recipes, because nobody makes better iced tea than you and 5 Roses.
Cry
with me, Mzansi. This is the last time for 2020 I'm saying this, but let's get eating. So Mzansi, and not only Mzansi, I suppose Dumi and Chef Clem. This year has been a very tumultuous, unpredictable year, but we got through it. Not only did we get through it, but we get to enjoy such delicious food whilst doing so. Here's to incredible food, wrapping up 2020 and the festive season. The spread is delicious, Mzansi. And thank you guys for joining me.
Thank you for letting me share the studio with you for the past few weeks. It's been amazing. Thank you.
And that's a wrap on Afternoon Express for 2020. We never would have anticipated the year that was, but we appreciate every single one of you that have taken the time to keep supporting the show. Now we thank you. We love you. Stay safe, be blessed, and enjoy the wonderful festive season. Goodbye. South Africa, Clover wishes you a happy festive season. Celebrated with friends, loved ones, and all your family favorites. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.